Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secureteam. Real quick, before we go any further, I just want to let you guys know the reason why I've kind of been missing in action for the past 3 days is, well, I have been taking care of this little girl here. This is my neighbor's dog, but a close friend's dog. It's like my own dog, who sadly broke her arm, so we had been at the vet. Then we had to drive 2.5 hours away yesterday to take her for surgery, and then we have to go back in the morning and drive another 2 hours to pick her up. So it's just been nonstop trying to take care of this poor girl whose name is Bella for the past couple of days. But you do what you got to do. But I just want to let you guys know I wasn't ignoring you, and I really have been trying to get these videos out. So with that said, the main topic of today's video I want to discuss is an area of the desert here in the States that apparently Google has refused to map, or in other words, to let us, the public, see for the past almost 8 years. And it was only up until recently that when you went on to Google Earth or to Google Maps that you could actually finally see this area in the Nevada desert. However, the damage has been done that there was basically a blackout for so many years regarding the satellite imagery of this area, and it's already sparked some pretty mainstream news sites to look into it. First, we have this main one here from Motherboard, where they did a report titled, "The One Place in the US Google Earth Stopped Mapping," with the subheader, quote, "For 8 years, Google Earth didn't update its satellite imagery of a military installation in Nevada, so we bought one ourselves." And so I will put the link down to this article down below, but a few different people have been noticing this. So Motherboard wanted to know why this area in the Nevada desert, made up of a series of dry lake beds in southwest Nevada, located in the Tonopah test range, has not had any satellite imagery updated online for the past 8 years, and is in fact the longest amount of time that any area in the continental US has gone without an update to its satellite imagery. From the years of 2008 to 2016, this so-called test range has been a blind spot from even Google, who is continuously mapping the Earth, or maybe Google knew about it. And so after stumbling upon the strange information as stated in the Motherboard article, they say that obviously they wanted to know why and how this happened. And while this area has since been updated, and you guys can look at this too, because if you go into Google Earth specifically, which you can download, you can see that it was finally updated to, it looks like we have imagery from 2014 or 15. However, when you go back in time, all the way back to the 1980s, every single year is the same satellite imagery, or at least it was for me at the time that I'm recording this as I'm looking at Google Earth. So no matter what year you go to, aside from a couple years around 2015, 16, maybe 14, it's the same exact imagery. Meanwhile, we have all of the other imagery up to date surrounding this area, so they obviously have been wanting to hide something big in this area. And it's also noted here that just as Motherboard was doing their investigation, Google Earth actually updated its historical data set to include images from 14 and 15, making the total gap of 6 years remaining. So 6 years with no information, no imagery. And this has been occurring for all of these years with no acknowledgement from Google, Alphabet. And so finally what the people at Motherboard did was decide, well, if I can't get imagery, we can try to buy it ourselves. And by the way, just to add here, the Tonopah is a subsection of the Nellis Test and Training Range. And since the 1950s, the Nellis Range has been a site of extensive secretive testing. However, even that area and others have not had such a long stretch of time without any imagery. And so long story short, Motherboard were able to acquire one of the images of this dry lake bed for the price of almost $2,000, and their initial intention was to obtain an exclusive copyright of the image and then sell it to Google at a price of $1. However, almost directly after that, the outlet were refused after learning that they had only legally, quote, leased the image and could not resell it. And instead, so the website plans to show abstract images of the satellite photo at an event that was actually streamed yesterday at around 11:30 a.m. UK time. The link to which I'll put down below, it's been streamed here on YouTube. However, it looks as if we're getting a second-hand shot, and basically we never get a clear shot of this area. So I'm not sure why Motherboard can't just publish it online. I'm going to check to see if they have. I haven't seen anything yet, but suffice it to say, Google is being totally quiet about this area, again called the Tonopah Test Range, and I guess I just want to put it out to you guys. Any of you who know about this area, specifically this range, have you heard any stories? Do you know anything about it? I want to get some more information about this area and why it has been blocked out when other areas like Area 51, other test ranges have not. I mean, yes, there are gaps in different data and different satellite imagery in different years. However, this area is the longest in history, and I'm trying to figure out why. What is being tested here? What is going on? So again, I'll link to this article down below as well as this live stream, and hopefully we can get an actual image released of this. But it looks like the powers that be are trying to block imagery, and this new imagery that you can go see right now that is updated on Google Earth, this is newer imagery. But I want to see the imagery that was blocked for almost 8 years and what was going down on this test range at that time. Why are they hiding those images? So we'll try to get some more information and look out for a follow-up video about this. And lastly, before we go today, I just want to feature a quick new clip of yet another one of these UFOs caught speeding past Earth or above Earth, captured on International Space Station cameras. So this was sent over to Secureteam by Truth Seeker, who I featured his work a couple of weeks back. He reminds me a lot of Street Cap 1. He has an eagle eye when it comes to monitoring the ISS cameras. And he's got some new footage here where I'll slow it down just so you can see it, but we see the Earth in the background, the ISS is above it, and right around the 22-23 second mark, we see a very fast one-frame flash of an object passing by so fast that, again, it only appears in one frame. This was my issue with the other footage that was almost identical to this, is because I would think if this were a comet or something like that, it would be going much slower. Maybe an asteroid, but this thing looks to have a tail coming off of it. Now, that may be a blurring effect, but whatever this object is, it is moving extremely fast. And so you're seeing the slowed down version of that here. And here is the still frame of the object right above the Earth's horizon line. And it looks to be glowing. It looks to be emanating its own light. Either that or the sun is reflecting off of it. So it's reflective. And as you watch through this full video, you'll notice after this happens, there are many more strange single frame flashes of light that just real quick flash at different areas of the screen of potentially other objects moving extremely fast. And there is even a flash of a red object, which immediately reminds me, whenever I see these red objects out in space, it reminds me of the Skylab UFO incident, which occurred on September 20th, 1973, where we have not only the unanimous eyewitness testimony of all 3 astronauts who were aboard Skylab when this UFO appeared, but also multiple photographs of this strange glowing red UFO that was seen miles in the distance outside the window of the spacecraft, and they described it as just this strange glowing red illuminated structure that seemed to tag along with them as they orbited Earth before finally the object stopped and then descended behind the Earth as if it was going in the opposite direction. And they snapped a couple of different photos, or at least the ones that were eventually released or leaked. The best one of them you're seeing here of the object, very strange shape, does not look like anything I've ever seen here on Earth or made on Earth. So whenever I see a red object out in space, it reminds me of that. I've done past videos on the Skylab UFO incident, and in fact, I'll try to go and dig back and find the exact video where I went into more detail, and if I can find it, I will put it down below in the video description. So with that, tell me what you guys think. Big thanks to Truth Seeker, and tell me what you think about this area of Google Earth. Why have they been hiding it? Stay tuned for updates. Thank you guys again for being so patient with me. New stuff's coming, so stay tuned, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and I will see you all back in just a bit.